You will not believe what just happened. Tonight, an emotional storm erupted that left everyone on set frozen in silence. Shen Yue, the girl who has always seemed composed, poised, and untouchable, crumbled in front of cameras, crew, and a world watching through the leaks. All because Dylan Wang finally made his choice. And it wasn't her. It started as an ordinary evening, lights dimmed, cameras ready for a late-night shoot that was supposed to be nothing more than routine. Dylan Wang, known for his charm and magnetic presence, had been distant for days. Whispers had circulated among the crew. Everyone knew something was brewing, something that would change the dynamics of this set forever. Shen Yue arrived, her usual smile masking a storm beneath. She greeted the team, exchanged quick pleasantries with Dylan, and tried to focus on her lines. But something was different. There was a tension in the air, thick enough to cut with a knife. Dylan's eyes kept darting elsewhere, avoiding hers, a silent message that spoke louder than any words ever could. And then it happened. Dylan Wang called her over, away from the cameras, into a secluded hallway. Crew members pretended not to notice, but phones secretly captured everything. "Shen Yue," he began, his voice unusually heavy. "I need to be honest with you. I've made my choice." Shen Yue's heart froze. Every fan, every follower, every moment she had imagined replayed in her mind. But the words that followed shattered her world. Dylan didn't look at her with the warmth she had grown accustomed to. Instead, he looked past her, as if the memories they shared were already fading into a story he no longer wanted to tell. "I'm choosing someone else," he whispered. The world seemed to tilt. Shen Yue felt her knees weaken, a dizzying weight pressing her down. She tried to speak, tried to fight the disbelief clawing at her throat, but her voice broke. Tears streamed down her cheeks, her carefully maintained composure gone in an instant. Crew members exchanged glances, unsure whether to intervene or give her space. Cameras, left rolling, captured every fragment of the collapse, every silent gasp, every shuddering breath, every heart-wrenching moment that fans would soon replay 1,000 times. In the aftermath, Shen Yue fled the hallway, clutching her bag as if it could shield her from the truth. She stumbled into the nearest restroom, locking the door behind her. There, the floodgates opened. Her crying echoed off the tiles, raw and unfiltered. Memories of late-night conversations, shared laughter, secret smiles, and promises made under the moon came crashing down like an unstoppable wave. The realization that Dylan's choice was final, that she was not the one he wanted, left her breathless and shattered. Outside, the world kept moving, oblivious to the storm inside that tiny room. Crew members whispered to one another, footage leaked almost immediately, and fans began speculating wildly. Social media exploded with theories, heartbreak, and outrage. Some blamed Dylan, some pitted Shen Yue, but everyone agreed on one thing. The moment was unforgettable, a scene that would be replayed in headlines and videos for days, weeks, and months. Meanwhile, Dylan Wang moved on, composed and unapologetic. He smiled for the cameras, greeted fans, and carried himself with the same charm that had won millions of hearts. But in that smile, there was a hidden tension, a quiet acknowledgement that what he had done would leave a mark, not just on Shen Yue, but on the hearts of everyone who loved this on-screen and off-screen dynamic. Shen Yue emerged hours later, visibly drained, her eyes red, her shoulders slumped. The fans who were lucky enough to spot her whispered encouragement from a distance, but no words could touch the pain that lingered. Every step she took was heavy with the weight of someone she could not let go of, someone she loved despite knowing she could never have him. As she left the set, a single thought repeated in her mind over and over. "I can't move on." It was not just a statement. It was a lifeline, a confession, a heart laid bare for the world to see. The raw honesty, the unfiltered heartbreak, made the scene unforgettable. It was more than drama. It was human, it was real, and it was utterly devastating. Fans around the globe reacted within minutes. Hashtags began trending. Videos clipped from the set went viral. Every frame of Shen Yue's breakdown, every fleeting look from Dylan, Every moment of silence was dissected and shared. Comment sections flooded with messages of support, of heartbreak, of outrage, and of empathy. People couldn't stop talking. People couldn't stop watching. Because what they witnessed was not just a fictional drama, it was a mirror of the human heart, unguarded, fragile, and relentlessly honest. And yet, even in this devastation, there was an undeniable beauty. The courage it took for Shen Yue to show her vulnerability, the undeniable pull of her emotion, the intensity of the moment, it created a scene that no audience would forget. This was a moment that would define this season, this story, and perhaps even the careers of those involved. As the lights dimmed on that set, the story was far from over. Fans are now demanding answers. Speculations are running wild. Will Shen Yue confront Dylan again? Will there be a reconciliation? Or will this heartbreak mark the beginning of something entirely new for her? One thing is certain, her declaration, her pain, and her inability to move on has captured hearts worldwide. The morning after the incident, the set felt eerily quiet. Shen Yue arrived late, her hair slightly disheveled, her eyes still swollen from crying. Every step she took seemed heavier than the last, her movements measured, cautious, as if the world itself had turned against her. Crew members tried to act normal, but there was a tension in the air that no one could ignore. Whispers followed her like shadows. The leaked footage from the night before circulating across social media, replayed millions of times. Shen Yue tried to focus on her work, on her lines, on anything that could distract her from the ache in her chest. But every glance at Dylan Wang, who seemed completely unaffected by the chaos, sent a jolt of pain through her body. He laughed with the other actors, joked with the crew, smiled at the cameras, and every smile felt like a reminder of what she could never have. Unable to contain her emotions, Shen Yue slipped away during a break and walked to the balcony overlooking the city. The skyline was beautiful, bathed in the golden hues of sunrise, but nothing could pierce the cloud of despair that surrounded her. She clutched her phone and stared at it, scrolling through messages, old photos, and memories she had tried desperately to bury. Dylan's name haunted every notification, every missed call, every shared moment. She pressed her forehead against the glass, her tears falling freely, her mind replaying the hallway scene, every word, every look. Meanwhile, Dylan Wang's choice was already making waves. Fans speculated endlessly online about the someone else he had chosen, debates raging over who had captured his heart and why Shen Yue had been left behind. In private, he felt a mixture of relief and guilt, knowing that what he did was final, but unaware of the depth of Shen Yue's devastation. He moved on with an air of confidence, but there were fleeting moments when his gaze would drift, when he would pause mid-conversation as if haunted by a memory. Shen Yue, however, could not escape. Every corner of the set, every familiar room, every shared joke brought back fragments of a past she could no longer touch. She tried to speak with friends, but words failed her. Every conversation seemed hollow. Every attempt at normalcy fell apart. She realized she wasn't just heartbroken. She was trapped in a storm of emotion she could not navigate, her mind circling the same memory, over and over. The tipping point came later that evening, when the cast gathered for a rehearsal scene that Dylan had insisted on running. Shen Yue's role demanded a light-hearted energy she could no longer summon. As the cameras rolled, as the lines left her mouth, her voice faltered, cracking under the weight of unspoken anguish. Dylan noticed immediately, his eyes locking with hers for just a fraction of a second. It was enough. Shen Yue could see the conflict, the hesitation, but it was not meant for her. After the scene, she walked off set, her footsteps echoing in the empty corridor. She leaned against the wall, sliding down to the floor, and let herself collapse completely. The memories came back like a tidal wave, laughter shared at midnight, stolen glances on the rooftop, whispered confessions during shoots no one else knew about. All of it was gone. All of it was over. Dylan Wang had chosen someone else, and nothing could change that. Then, a small spark of defiance ignited inside her. Through the tears, Through the heartbreak, a thought formed. She could not control Dylan's choices, but she could control her own. She could let this heartbreak consume her, or she could rise from it, stronger than before. She wiped her tears, drew a shaky breath, and whispered to herself, "I will not be defined by him, but by me." That night, Shen Yue posted a photo online, just a simple smile, a single caption that read nothing at all. Fans erupted, analyzing every detail, searching for a hidden message. But the truth was simple. She was beginning to reclaim herself. Dylan Wang had made his choice, but Shen Yue was learning to make hers. She would grieve, yes, but she would also heal. She would rise. And the world would watch, because this heartbreak was far from the end. It was just the beginning of a journey that would redefine her, and perhaps even shock Dylan Wang himself. The story is far from over. Fans are waiting, the drama is intensifying, and every step Shen Yue takes is being followed by millions of eyes hungry for what comes next. Will she confront Dylan again? Will a new love emerge from the shadows? Or will this heartbreak become the fuel for a transformation no one saw coming? One thing is certain, her inability to move on has become the heartbeat of this story, and the world will not look away.